When you said dad is Texas from the 50s, I was waiting for racist.
No, he's actually really chill as far as like guys from Texas in the 50s. For the amount of black dudes I've brought over, he's been super chill.
The
amount of black dudes I've had to introduce him to, like, he's like only said a few weird things.
Family brings joy. Childhood destroyed. Hey, it's Tammy's boy. Tammy's boy. Tammy's boy. Hey, it's Tammy's boy.
Tammy's Boy Podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. John Carden is not a licensed therapist. He is just a friend.
All right. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Tammy's Boy. You know me. I'm your host, John Carden. I had the crazy childhood where I ended up being best friends with a Mexican immigrant named Rambo. So you never know what's going to happen on the pod. We love this pod, and I love my producer, Mr. Colt Garrett.
Guys, how in the hell are we doing? As always, we got a great episode for you today. Full video is going to be available on YouTube and Spotify. Please make sure you go like, comment, subscribe wherever you're watching it because we can't do this without you guys, and we got a lot of big plans in store to make this bigger and better to keep giving you these crazy stories that we got. That's enough out of me. John, who the hell we got on the couch today?
Well, Tammy's boys and girls. We've got one of my better friends in comedy, somebody I haven't seen in a while. She was the funniest person in Austin in 2024, 2025. Is that good enough?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
Dude, whatever.
She's a regular at Comedy Mothership. She opens for Ari Maddie all over the fucking universe. And it's Liz Splatt, everybody.
Yeah!
What's up, buddy?
Are you guys going to edit in a little applause?
We can do that.
Okay, cool.
We can give you a little applause break if you want.
Yeah. Just like a moment.
Yeah?
Thank you. Really quiet golf claps. But I'm doing good. I'm excited to get deep in the neck of this pod. Figure out really what it is.
How was traffic getting here?
Horrible.
It sucks, right?
Sucks.
Yeah, every piece of the road around my place is under construction.
It's a nightmare, yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, it was crazy when I looked at, because when I first mapped this out, it said like, cool, 20 minutes or something.
The longer you look, the higher it gets.
Yeah, the longer you wait, the higher it gets.
Yeah,
so
until like 7, and then it just drops off. It makes no sense.
Everybody just goes the fuck home.
Yeah,
Everybody's
no
like,
sense.
never mind.
Yeah, they've bulldozed all the wrecks off the road.
Yeah.
All the corpses are in the morgue, and you can drive now.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the rules. We always start this off really simply. One question to rule them all.
Can I take off my shoes?
Of course.
I just feel like I'm not like
Get
fully
comfy,
comfy on the.
I'll take mine. You know
on
what?
the.
Let's do it.
I'm going to take mine off too, actually.
Do your freaking thing, freak.
Hell
All right.
yeah, baby. Take them shoes off, Colt.
What are we talking about? We're talking about my mom and my dad.
So who raised you?
My mom and my dad.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. All right, so what's your mom like?
My mom is like, she's like super silly, but also scary.
Okay, what about her scares you?
I don't know.
She got like wrath?
She has a rage. I don't know about a wrath. A wrath makes it feel like it's more like blah, but she's more like I see a lot of my mom in me when I get really frustrated or irritated.
Okay.
So I guess
that's when you channel the inner mom.
Yeah, like that's what I feel like I resemble is what I saw growing up, which I guess makes sense. But like, you know, she just gets really upset and can't really handle that well. And that's kind of her go-to.
Does she
like
shut
anger.
down or does she lash out?
I mean, it's like her shut down. She shut down, and then if you if you're like around her, like if my mom was mad growing up, I'd have to like tiptoe around her, or she's like gonna lash out, you know?
Okay, yeah.
So it's not like she's just gonna be like avoidant. She's gonna like say what's on her mind.
She puts up like a bitchy force field.
Yeah, and it's like you can feel it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's like so caring and thoughtful, and she's so funny. Like especially like the older she gets, I guess it's funnier. But even as a kid, my mom was just so like, she would just kind of like say the thing, and it was really funny.
I always that was one thing about you being your friend for so long. I always wonder where you got your fire from.
Yeah.
Because you have like a raging fire about you. And
What's funny is like my mom would not my mom would not identify with having that fire, but she so does,
Okay.
you know? Like I've just literally like, I feel like because I saw it and I have it, I've like more so harnessed it and been like, this is my thing. But my mom's like, nah, dude, I'm cool as a cucumber. But then she like actually is a lot like me, you know?
Yeah.
So.
What's one of your earliest memories with your mom, if you can go back?
Oh my God, I remember being like a tiny little baby and I was like crying really bad. Not like a tiny little baby. Sorry. Not like a tiny little baby, but like just like a maybe 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and like big enough for my mom to have to like pick me up on the hip. And I was crying like, you know, how babies be. And then my mom picked me up and put me on her hip. And we were like looking in this big mirror that's in her room. And she was like, who's my little beautiful girl? Like, it's okay. So that's probably my first memory I could think of.
That's dope.
I know, it's a really sweet
That's
one.
a good memory.
That's a good
dude. That's a
one.
good one.
That's my first one with my mom that I like when I think about how young I was. Yeah.
I think I've met your dad, right?
I don't know. My dad be around.
I
He's
think
cool as fuck.
maybe did he come to Plano when we were at the House of Comedy? Maybe.
Yeah. Probably.
I think I remember
Yes.
meeting him.
What did we do at the House of Comedy?
Like maybe like 4 years ago, 3 years.
I opened for you?
Yeah, you hosted.
Right.
Because-
I so barely remember that, to be honest.
Because the hosting spot there paid more.
Paid more.
Yeah.
I have to stop moving the mic. Yeah.
think
Probably.
it
I bet my dad went to that.
What was your dad like?
Dude, my dad's cool. My dad's also scary in a more obvious way.
Okay.
But like they're both just like intense people.
I think that's what I remember about your
They're
dad.
both
was
intense people.
Your dad being a little bit intimidating.
Yeah. I mean, he's like from Texas in the 50s. So like he's
Okay,
just
yeah.
like badass. Like, you know, he just has that Southern dad vibe of being like, I handle my business, and if my business is you, I'll handle you. You know, like-
When you said dad is Texas from the 50s, I was waiting for racist.
No, he's actually really chill as far as like guys from Texas in the 50s. For the amount of black dudes I've brought over, he's been super chill.
Like
The amount of black dudes I've had to introduce him to, like, he's like only said a few weird things.
I'm just glad you found somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So about the Knicks. It's all right. My daddy wasn't around either.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing is when white trash try to relate to black people.
No. My
And
dad
it
would
ends up
never
becoming
pull that
racist?
card. My dad's dad was the chief of police.
Oh, for real?
So,
Was your dad strict?
my dad's strict. He was the more lenient one of the two.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom was like on our asses.
Do you think that's because he had a dad that was like, because I imagine if your dad's chief of police.
Nah, because my parents met in a 12-step program. They got sober from being hardcore like addicts.
Okay.
And so like they more so came about things of being like, we literally know what the fuck you're up to, you know? And it was
Okay.
just like, we're not gonna give you any room to get up to that shit. That's how
Yeah.
my mom was. And then my dad would just be like, yeah, you know, like my mom would like really do all this stuff. And then if we really pushed back on my mom, my dad was there to be like, no. And we were like, fuck. He would never,
So your dad grew up
against
in the
mom.
household with the chief of police and ended up being an addict.
yes.
That's not shocking.
Holla. Yeah.
Is it actually like pretty common for,
Yeah.
for kids that grow up in like a...
I mean, it can happen to literally anybody. You just drink
absolutely.
or like, and you can't handle it. Like
Yeah.
if some people can drink and get drunk and have a good time and have a nice place or like whatever, but some people, they just like, shit's trashed.
Yeah.
All the time.
I mean, when
can't.
I've been sober for almost 2 years. And-
Drinking, right?
From drinking,
Yeah.
And, oh God, I don't know if I could give up weed. I'll try one day. But-
Yeah, I'm always up and down with that
I know.
stuff.
I know.
I did like 200 something days recently, and then recently I started smoking again. And I swear it's just like doesn't make me feel as confident when I'm like sober. I have like more confidence.
Yeah, me
But then
too.
I love smoking weed. It's like, what is up with that? It's addiction.
Weed
It's drug addiction.
destroys my self-confidence. It
Yeah,
makes
I know.
no sense. Yeah,
I
like,
get so scared in my head. I'm like, everybody freaking hates you. Everybody freaking hates you. And then I stop smoking weed, and I'm like, I'm doing it. Like I'm living my dream.
I have won so many arguments drunk. I have never won an argument high.
Oh my God, I'm terrified I cry.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
swear.
I do not want confrontation. I don't want
Yeah.
any of that when I'm stoned.
No, I don't even want. Yeah, I smoked before this, and I was like, great, I'm gonna be terrified the whole time. Like, talk about your parents. I'm like, fuck.
So neither of your parents did really any kind of substance growing up.
Literally nothing.
Nothing.
Literally
it was like
nothing.
a completely straight edge
Completely
house.
sober household, yeah.
Wow. And
Until me and my brother started causing ruckus.
when what was the first day? Like when the first time that you like say experimented with the drug? I don't like the word experiment, but like, when was the first time you did?
When I think it was like 15 or 16, and I drank for the first time.
Okay.
And I got drunk, and I was like, I remember thinking like, I shouldn't get into this. like everybody was like being so. And it's funny because I've always, ever since then, I've still always been like that with like drugs or drinking or anything. But I just was like, man, this is the thing that I know I'm not supposed to be doing. And I'm experiencing it right now, but I know I shouldn't keep doing this.
Yeah.
And so I just had a different, like, I wasn't having this like blah time. I was just kind of sitting there being like present as fuck, which is strange probably. But just because I grew up around so much discussion of addiction.
Yeah.
And what
so
all
much
that
awareness
does.
to what it does to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was like a heavy thing on my mind. It always has been. That's why I'm always like, I haven't experimented with the majority of drugs. But
Who do you think, which parent do you think had the right approach on that? Like if you could go back and say like, I like the way this parent handled it more than this parent.
well,
And I know that's kind of, I know it's kind of
difficult
subjective.
because
Yeah.
I will say, like, shout out to my parents. They're one of the best units I've ever seen as far as a couple.
They're still
like,
together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like really like,
That's dope.
they had that understanding kind of on lock of being like, we're a team. We don't separate even the few times where my dad was like, look, your mom might be tripping, blah, blah, blah. But like, he still has her back in those conversations. He's not being like, yeah, your mom's a bitch, just deal with it. Like, he's never like that.
Yeah.
They're like trying to work as a unit. Anyway.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's great. Shout out to them. But I would say it's funny because I preferred my dad's way of like being more like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And growing up, I really thought that would be enough. Like, I'm like, if mom would just do it like dad, I really wouldn't, I feel like I would be less likely to like act out and stuff. But the older I get, the more I realize how stupid I was. I'm thinking it's pretty good to like really lock shit down and be like, okay, we can handle this trauma I'm giving you later. I'm trying to help you from getting like gangbanged. So like, let's freaking get you at like, I'm taking your phone at night. I'm like, and my mom shut shit down. Like, I was not doing shit until I had any amount of freedom at all. And then I would immediately fuck it up. I would immediately fuck that shit up, guys.
She would give you an answer, you would take a mile.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I was sucking dick in the back of cars and smoking weed with like 12 black guys in my car. And not that I guess the race matters, but it is a funny image. And it's like, it's not like worse because they're black, but it is an accurate image. And, just drinking like 4 Locos and then driving home, popping Xanax, leaving school because I didn't really even know I was leaving school because I was on Xanax. Just like being chill. I was just trying to have a freaking chill time and that bitch was ruining my life, honestly.
I'm sorry, Mom. I was too busy being dope as fuck.
Dude, sorry. I'm literally a music video and you're like a piece of shit bitch. I remember I hated my mom in high school. And just to be clear,
Who
I
does?
love my mom now.
Yeah.
But I would look up I would look up on Google, I'm like, songs about hating your mom. Because I was like,
You got a fucking I Hate Mom playlist?
Exactly. And I just remember reading one of them, I guess on like whatever Reddit used to be or something. This one woman was like somebody posted that, was like, I hate my mom. I need songs about hating your mom. And I was like, yeah, this guy gets it. And then one of the comments was like, I really hope you grow from this pain. I lost my mother 5 years ago and I think about her every day. And I was just like, fuck. Sorry, is that not funny? I thought it was funny.
That's great.
I think about that comment to this day. I remember being like, dude, I'm not even going to be freaking sad. But now I'm like, if something happened to my mom, I'd literally kill myself. My world would end. Sorry.
Could you imagine calling into a radio DJ with the I Hate Mom playlist? And he's like, all right, this is for Liz, who hates her mother. I'm a bitch. I'm a lover. I'm a child.
I guess. See, that song was too upbeat. I wanted like how Eminem made the song Kim,
Oh, for mom.
but about my mom.
You
know?
make me fucking sick to
You
my
make
stomach.
me sick bitch. He would just scream about that woman.
Fucking scream.
And we were all okay with that.
I
That's
hate
crazy.
my mom.
Yeah, exactly. I would have, I would have been huge into that. But
That's a normal thing for daughter. Like I know my kids have gone through periods where they didn't want to see me, and it hurts. You know what I mean? It hurts, but it's also like I acknowledge that it's part of growing, it's part of their independence, and
Yeah.
it goes into all of that.
And that's where it's almost like I would get a little jealous of people whose parents were separate because it's like, yeah, I would literally love to spend the weekend at dad's and just like kind of get a little moment away from this bitch. But then it was just like, no matter what, we all live together. Like I'm always in the mix. And that's even the case with me and my mom now. It's like, we're so close. I can talk to her about anything. She's so like wise, but we need space.
Yeah.
We need to get away.
Well, what I tell my kids is like, because I had trouble trusting my parents because my mom lied a lot, you know what it was. And so I just tell them simply, it's like, I understand if you're in an age where you don't want to trust me and you don't want to listen to my words, but don't trust me, trust my perspective.
Yeah.
Trust the wisdom that I've gained as a human instead of the guidance that I'm trying to give you as a father.
See, that's so wise, but I just feel like little 14-year-old to 18-year-old Liz would be like, I don't get it. And I just like do whatever. And
Fuck you, Dad.
No, for real. I was so
I'm gonna go do Xanax with the basketball team.
I mean, you can seriously, like, you can imagine me, like, as you know me, but with like an adolescent, my brain isn't formed.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't freaking know what's going on. I'm pissed like all the time. It was crazy. I remember one time my dad was trying to tell me about a quote that he like read at some point, saying that like, if you like only I'll make the decision to not get upset today or something. And I remember just being like, dude, like you can't decide, like people are gonna piss me off. Like I can't do anything about that. And now as I'm older, I'm like, dude, my dad was on that shit.
Yeah, your dad was
He
wise.
knows. Yeah, like
Looking at your dad like he's Yoda.
yeah, exactly. No, seriously, my brother and I always joke about how he's like a sensei.
Yeah.
Like he's like a Zen sensei for real.
I really hope my kids say that about me one day. But I've been angry about their mom in front of them so many times.
Yeah.
There's no way me and Zen is going to come up.
Yeah.
It's not coming
That
up
would
in the
be-
same conversation.
You're pretty chill. It's like, I always think of you as like really, really chill, given the situation you were raised in. Like you've
I respect
really
that.
come so far
Yeah.
from what could be going on.
Yeah.
And that's, that I bet by the time they have kids, you will be like this wise, like Jedi ass guy.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, my dad had me at like 40. My parents had me at 40. They were both 40. So it's like,
So they were much older.
they're much older. They already got through all this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't literally, they were like, all we do is make money for y'all and mess with y'all. Like we're not
So what
trying to be
Do you
social.
have a brother and a sister?
So I have two brothers and a niece who's my sister.
Okay.
This is where you can relate. It's a little white trash.
Okay.
So
Yay.
my dad had a kid when he was 19. And
I can relate.
yep. And that kid
You know that?
That kid got into some stuff, possibly a little pokey in the army.
As you do.
As you do. If your dad's like a crazy alcoholic who's not sober yet. Anyway, and then that kid had a kid when he was 30. Meanwhile, before all that happened, before my brother had a kid, my dad got sober, met my mom. They got married, had sex at least twice, had me and my brother at 40 or had my brother, I guess, at like 37, a million miscarriages because she was old as fuck. And then had me and
Jesus fucking Christ.
I mean, if she's still upset about them, that would actually kind of hurt my feelings. It's like, are you not happy with what you got? Come on. But yeah, so then they had me and my brother, perfect little baby angels. And then my brother, when he was like 30, my half brother, my dad's first child from the other marriage, he had a baby in Louisiana in the bayou. and
A little CJ Landry.
yeah, a little CJ Landry. She's just like
swamp rat.
half Creole, straight up. But
Where my baby Bible be at?
yeah,
Bring Daddy Habinky. We're gonna go on now. I'm
wait,
gonna go to
say
the
it. You're
playground.
good at that. Say the say like, can I suck on my mom's tits?
Can I
Something
suck on my mama titty? I'll be down there. I'll suck on mama titty real soon now. Real soon I'll be down there. I'll
Dude,
suck on mama
that's
titty.
so you, Adea. That's so you if you're watching this. But yeah, so my brother John had a baby, and then the feds raided the house because it was a trap house. She's a little refugee, and that's what I called her growing up. freaking adopted shelter dog. But we got her ass from the streets. So her dad skirted her ass out in the craziest looking Cadillac you ever seen, drove up to our house. Anyway, he skirted her out before like CPS could take her. This is probably too much to go on a podcast, but it's fine.
You have the power to edit anything out you want.
Totally
buddy.
fine. Honestly, let it cook. But
Yeah, they let it cook in the trap house.
yeah, exactly. No, seriously, she was up there whipping the shit.
Yep.
3 years old, but
She knew the difference between baking soda and
she showed up with a grill, but she really did.
fucking girl. She's got temporary tattoos.
Yeah, they're real. They're still there.
They're real.
She was, dude.
Fucking
She was
prison tats from Time Out.
wild. She was wild, but we had to like truly like. There was a period of time where she just like, was acting. We were like, hey man, you don't act like that. you gotta be like a kid.
How long you been in timeout, girl? Like 3 to 6?
Yeah, exactly.
I've
Yo,
been
they
in here for
sentenced me 12.
I've been in here for
What?
like 3 to 6 years.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, and then we started sharing a room, mega beef. Well, she came to our house and lived
So
there.
you shared a room with your niece.
Yeah, because my brother was just not in a place to be able to raise her.
Was he living there too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, with the baby moms and
Oh wow, so it was a full house.
and the grandma and like just random junkie friends. Like, well, I don't look. My brother's gonna see this and be like, we were blah blah blah, but it's like, dude, they were all junkies or junkies, and let's get over it.
He's like, actually, we were releasing inhibitions into the universe. Yeah, but you were using heroin.
Oh my god, it's literally like my brother. He's like, we were making beautiful music, we were messing with fire. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Send me rent. But anyway, so where was I? Yeah, he like kind of dipped. He had to do
Okay.
his thing. He had to go to jail, and then. My sister just like my dad like officially adopted her.
Okay.
And it's like, for a while I'm like my niece, but it's like, bro, this bitch my sister. That's just a fact.
Are you and her close now?
We're so close. We're literally like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We fuck. I did go through a period of time. She hated this where I would just like flash her my tits.
Yeah?
She hated that. Yeah. She was just like, oh my God, Elizabeth! Sisters are so funny because it's like, you can just abuse them.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. We put my little brother through hell.
Oh my God, we used to we have this huge, very tall wooden fence outside of my parents' backyard, probably literally the height of that. And maybe not that high, bookshelf. Anyway, my brother is super tall. He would pick up Adea and make her hang on to it and be like, if you don't hang on to it, I'm going to let you go. And so Adea would hang on to it and then we'd just walk away. She's like 6 years old. She's like, Samuel, seriously? She was terrified of tsunamis. She was we lived in Dallas, Texas, and she's absolutely terrified of tsunamis. I think it's because growing up in Louisiana, a few years after Hurricane Katrina,
Okay.
she's just like, the water's coming. She was so scared of tsunamis because we lived near a lake, and I'd be like, Adea, tsunami's coming, and she'd be like, stop it. So funny.
Y'all need to get off Bourbon Street now. The levee gonna break. The levee gonna break.
You have a good little Louisiana accent.
I can do all the regions of the South. That's the only thing I'm good at, is I can do almost every Southern accent.
That's great.
But I speak white trash fluently.
Yeah, that's
and in
great.
different dialects.
You can you're good in any hood. That's
Absolutely,
white.
yeah. I could chameleon like a motherfucker.
Hell yeah, dude.
I can get along anywhere. Well, my brother's married to a black chick.
Yeah.
And my brother went to, he was in group homes a lot. And so my brother was in group homes with a lot of black kids. And they definitely had an influence. And so he would come back to the trailer we lived in with a very almost borderline white supremacist stepfather. And my brother's like a huge Eminem fan, and he's like quoting Nelly. He's like, yeah, Anale, mama, yeah, uh-oh.
And your stepdad's like, oh my God, what have they done to him?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So what do you think, what moment do you think like where your parents have been like most supportive of you?
I mean, they kind of crushed it my whole life, in general, I'd say. But I guess most supportive, that's so relative. I mean, you know, I had cancer and they were really cool during that period. they were like really like,
They're like really chill.
They're like the only people that supported me, you know, like as far as like, they're the only people that really can, like, you know, that I just officially like, it was my first year of college. So it's like, I had just left the nest, but then they immediately were like, you come back to nest, you know, like, so they're like,
they welcomed you right back in.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, like, what are you going to do? Like,
could you imagine?
Exactly. Like, but seriously, that's the thing. Like, so many people have those parents. Like, so many people have parents that literally can't, either like financially or like mentally, they're not there. Like, they're just like crazy or whatever. And so, yeah, I think about that a lot. Like, how it's remarkable that both my parents, like, completely crazy people, but they really were able to get it together as far as just like being there for their kids. Like, the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, basically a lot of people fumble that hard as fuck.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up.
Did you ever meet,
Don't do that.
Did you ever meet my ex Chelsea?
Yeah, the thick pog.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I love you.
Yeah.
She got cancer like right after we met. It was probably like maybe 6 months after we were together. She ended up with she got thyroid cancer. And I used to think it was like one of those things where it's like, we've been together 6 months. That's long enough to where I got to stay.
Yeah.
Like, you got to stay.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about that. I mean, I'm not saying I ever thought about leaving her during this time. I was happy to be there with her throughout this whole fucking struggle. But it's like, if you do, we talking about your parents, what else should they have bring you back in?
Yeah.
I felt that same thing where it's like, well, you know, there's no really other option here other than to be here and be supportive.
Yeah,
You have to.
exactly.
Because if I do leave this girl with cancer, nobody's going to be like, oh, wow, he really knew himself.
Yeah.
You know, he really knew his boundaries and what he could tolerate. But no, that asshole left a girl with cancer.
Yeah, no, that's
But that was just...
that's a shitty move,
Yeah.
I would say. But at the same time, it's like you said, like when you really like care for someone, that doesn't cross your mind.
It doesn't even cross your mind.
Yeah, like
you don't
my
even
parents,
think about it.
like we were, from the moment I got diagnosed, we were in it together as a unit. You know, like it's not like my mom wasn't like, what are you gonna do? Like, like, you know, like it's like she literally is like, now we go to this doctor and this. I'm like a retarded 19-year-old. You know, like,
could you imagine you tell parents you got cancer? Well, you're fucked.
Yeah, I know. They're like, I guess check TikTok. Like, you know, like I'm like, what, guys?
They're pulling up YouTube videos for you.
My mom's like, do this little thing, like, do like a dance, get on Ellen, she'll change it. But
we just need to align your chakras.
Yeah, no, it's so I'd say, yeah, that's a pretty easy answer, the cancer thing. I mean, obviously with stand-up, they're supportive, but it's like, my dad is different. Like, I'll say my dad I'm pretty sure he actually loves my comedy. Like, he likes the crazy, oh my God, you just said that. Like, he likes that kind of, he doesn't seem to mind at all that it's so dirty and I'm talking sexually. Like, I don't think it even registers to him as anything that's remotely real, because it's not. Like, I'm not telling a horny story. Like, it's a gross sex story for the most part, a lot of my jokes, but or something like in that realm.
I'll say this, of all the people I know in comedy, you have had probably like, I don't mean to take this away from who you were, but like you've had the most growth on stage. And
Period.
It's like, I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. Like, watching you 4 years ago, 5 years ago is completely different than watching you today.
Well, it's all going back now.
It's like you're way more composed. You're way more, together with it. Your thoughts are way more like, way more pointed. You know what I mean? And it's like, you can tell that you've developed not only into a comic, but a person that thinks about comedy.
Yeah, I know. Before I was just kind of like, I guess they're gonna keep letting me do this. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't.
Like, you were funny.
Yeah,
and you
thanks.
were brash, and you were always overt, and those things were always great about you. But it's like now you're cerebral.
Yeah, I'm trying. That's what I'm really trying. Thank you so much for saying that. Because honestly, like, recently I've been just having, like, I can't write any new jokes right now. I've
struggled too.
Nothing's really like, I'm writing a lot, but nothing's really been like, and these are my new jokes that I really fuck with. Like, yet, it obviously will come.
Did you get anything from the silent retreat?
Yeah, I guess so. I did. I started when I was in the silent retreat. You're not supposed to write at all. You're not supposed to like read or write or do anything. But obviously, like, I mean, I guess not obviously, but I brought a notebook and a pen just because I'm like to have something there in case I start losing it. And everything I was writing wasn't that funny, but it was all clean. It was all clean material. It had nothing to do with sexuality or anything. And which is very like I've struggled with not being able to write anything that's clean. And now some of those jokes.
Why do you think that's like?
I think my mind is very quickly attached to chaos, and that's what I kind of like resort to being around society. Like, and I hate to even turn it into this, but like being around men like all the time and like thinking, oh, that's a good angle that I can have to make. It's like I'll discuss the sexuality in the room first so that nobody acts sexually towards me, you know, like so that I'm in charge of that conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been, I think, subconsciously doing. But then when I'm in the retreat, I didn't feel any type of way. I'm literally not talking or seeing anyone like that. So like I just was my pure form. I started thinking about my childhood and wrote some jokes about that. And like, it ended up being this chunk because my mom sent me to fat camp when I was in high school. I don't know if you know that, but
I didn't know that. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah. But I started writing about that because that's always been something that's like anybody I've ever told that to is like, yeah, there's obviously so much material there, you know, like there's a ridiculous amount of material, but it was one of those things that I didn't really know how to talk about, you know, and it just didn't really like fit, LOL, pun intended. But, and yeah, then now I have them in my set. They are sexual now. Immediately, as soon as I got out of the retreat, I was like, I know how to make it funny. Pussy, pussy, pussy. Because I tried them like clean and it just didn't really hit. But then when I did them the way I'm doing them now, it's like, they're like 60-40. they're still failing, but they're there.
All you need is a good pussy tag every now and then.
That's all you need. Every once in a while. And if that doesn't work, try the big black cock. Try a little big black cock action.
That's what my mom says.
Hell yeah. Look at Colton popping in.
Wow, dude.
Colton!
Good job, buddy.
Feeling the motion with the ocean.
I'm in it.
He said, I'm about to riff. Click.
Oh, it's great, man. So like the silent retreat, you did that. What made you want to do that? What made you want to go just be silent for a minute?
I'm about to set myself the fuck up here. Basically, Jordan Shelby, shout out Jordan Shelby. I love Jordan Shelby, one of the funniest, coolest, sweetest, most beautiful men I know.
One of the most underrated comedians in Austin.
Period.
Dude is truly hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious. And also, let's talk about it. Smoke show.
Yeah, great looking guy.
Really hot guy.
Very much like the awkward guy that would take your picture for the high school yearbook.
Yeah. He's very like J. Crew model. Like you could kind of see him posing like or something.
I see him more as like a Vans model.
I can see that.
But I'm with you.
Yeah. You're actually right about that. But he went and then shortly, like he went to one in California. And then shortly after that, Sam Prickett went to one in Texas. Burp. And then after that, they had gone to something together. I don't know. They'd done several different little things. And I told Jordan, because he was like always raving about it, like always talking about meditation. Like clearly this is something that really like resonated with him and like helped him in a lot of ways. And I've meditated a lot before, but not very consistently, not for a long amount of time. And he just like, he would tell me about it. It's free. It's Dhamma. Anyway, it's Vipassana meditation retreat and it's free and it's just right outside of Dallas. So when they told me they were doing it, I was like, I feel like if I don't do this now, I might never do this. And this is something that I think I want to do. Like it feels like something I want to do. Like that seems like something that throughout my whole life, I would have been interested in that. So I'm like, I need to do it now.
Do you think you have an admiration for Stoicism?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh my God. Like I crave that. Like I am always trying to seek and like figure out how to like find inner peace and like do like that's, oh my God, that's so much of my thing. And I feel like that's comedy's such a fun way to do that because it's like if same thing as being stoic, where if you can keep the same like kind of composure and like know that everything changes, but like I try and do it in a way where it's not necessarily like composure, but it's like always trying to be funny and always trying to be like lighthearted. And that's what stand up and being around the comedy community can really help you with, which is funny because like being around the comedy community almost like is like, it's like a challenge because it's so much chaos and nonsense and like so many emotions. But if you can keep yourself always at the cool level of like trying to be funny, it's like a really fun thing. But so many comics lose their mind because it's very hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm saying it like it is, Colton or Colt?
Yeah. Either or.
Okay, you need to pick one.
No, okay.
You need to figure that out or I'm not coming back.
Oh God, I fucking missed you, dude. God, we gotta hang out more. What is Dad doing now? Where's Dad and Mom
They're
now?
retired. Both of them are retired as fuck.
Yeah?
Yo, my dad
What's their retirement activity?
watching Korean rom-coms.
Are you for real?
Fucking stop. My dad randomly, maybe I want to say actually like 8 years ago, watched some kind of ninja movie, and it's been a deep rabbit hole into all Asian culture, hard stopping at Korean rom-coms. If you look at my dad's Netflix, you would think it's a Korean man's Netflix. Like you have to go out of your way to search and see anything that's American.
Your dad really wasn't part of the problem. Like your dad was like 1950s
Dude, my
Texan
dad's
that made
cool
the
as
change.
fuck.
He
My
made the
dad's literally
change.
cool as fuck.
Yeah.
But he's like always watching. And the thing is, it's like Hallmark ass Korean rom-coms. Like these are the things that in Korea they're playing on a random Tuesday evening. It's not like Squid Games or something that like is badass.
Yeah.
Like my dad's just like, and then his cousin told her that actually she's married to him. And like, it's just like, I'm like, what are you talking about? But he loves these things. He's literally just nonstop consuming Korean.
Could you imagine him sitting next to a Korean lady and them having like a deep conversation, having like all that shit to talk about?
Dude.
They're like, I know. And that's when Luke Kwan left Kim. And then Kim.
I'm about to make you so happy. My dad's actually going to Korea this upcoming year.
Are you for real?
I know, dude. With my mom, this is like, they're like, well, we need to go before we're too old to do anything. Like
Yeah.
they're old as fuck. So they're like, let's just go. And I was like, bro, yes, like goals.
Go.
You know, goals,
Go.
go. Yeah, they're going to a lot of different places, like in Asia.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad's like really nervous. He's never moved and lived outside of Texas.
Okay.
So when it comes to traveling, even when it's something he's super excited for, he's like, I don't know if we should do this. And then he gets it. He's like, we need to go back next month. He loves it.
Yeah, but your dad watches so many Korean films. He's gonna go in and be like, "Ni hao,
Yeah, exactly. No, he's like so excited to like know the like. He told my mom, he was like, I got us in Korea. I know exactly where to go.
He's Duolingoing it
Yeah.
out. Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
I know, bro. My mom's obsessed with crime. Yeah,
Okay.
my mom's obsessed with crime.
I was trying to connect crime in Korea, but as far as I know, Korea is kind of a safe.
My parents, this is, I think, the key to a happy relationship is a ton of space. And so they sleep together. Don't get me wrong. They're not
Yeah.
one of these weird couples that has a different room. They sleep together, but like 80% of the day, 90% of the day, they're completely separate. And they might meet up at like a meeting, you know, one of their things, or when they get home. But my mom is doing her little workouts, meeting with friends, whatever. My dad helps take care of his like cousin and his mom, and like it's like a whole, they have their own things and then they meet up. But even when they're at home, they're together, they're completely alone in the house with just the dogs. But my mom's in her room watching, literally my mom will have her phone going, her iPad going, and her TV going. It's absolute chaos of like different crime things. And my dad's just in there like watching Korean rom-coms nonstop.
Your mom's got like red yarn.
Yeah, no,
Connecting the
literally.
iPad to the TV.
Literally, no. My mom will just be eating a snack there. I'm like, what are you watching? And she'll just be like, oh, I'm watching this murder. This guy killed the fuck out of his wife. this guy really abused his wife.
Timothy
like,
Bratton,
dude,
1978.
yeah,
Chauncey, Missouri.
dude. No, they're always recent. Like she's always up to date with the cops on some shit.
That's wild.
Yeah, she's figuring it out.
Dude.
She should have a podcast. She should do this. You guys should help my mom.
I would love to have your mom on.
Hit me up.
Let us know. Come
Oh
on
my
with your
God.
mom.
Well, she needs a crime podcast. She would be like,
I'll find a
this would not work for my mom. What's your sign?
crime. I am a cusp. So
My mom's a cusp.
I'm a Virgo Leo cusp, and I am truly both.
You are truly both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly both.
You really are. No, I totally get exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two great signs. Those are two icons.
Yeah, right?
I feel like some signs they're kind of like side characters.
I've got the same birthday as Kobe.
Oh,
R.I.P.
whoa.
R.I.P. My niece is named after his daughter, Gianna.
They're going to be like, my niece is named Kobe. Gianna?
Yeah, Gianna, that was his daughter's name.
Your niece is named after?
Kobe's daughter.
Was she
That's
born after she died?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Super sad.
That's really sad.
I know. I feel like I just completely
Dead stop.
changed the emotion of the room. I just killed
What are
it.
you going to do now?
Yeah.
Well,
You killed Kobe.
Yeah.
I didn't kill Kobe.
You murdered Kobe Bryant.
Now,
moments
first
before
off,
that
I would never
helicopter.
fly a helicopter.
Yeah. Well, you shot him from afar.
Shut up.
Were you in the military?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like good at it.
No. I totally get that.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Don Rickles talk about how he was in the military? He has this.
Yes.
I forgot who you did.
Yes, I have.
Oh my God, it's so funny. You were in the military? You look like a military ass motherfucker. What about you? Oh yes, everybody in here owns a gun. I'm
collect
in
'em.
danger.
There's actually a gun next to my bed right now.
They're gonna be like, there's actually a gun pressed against your
Actually,
back.
from where you're sitting, it's like 3 feet on the other wall.
Just grab it. Pow, pow, pow.
Liz, that would be the coolest thing I've ever seen in the
best way
history
to
of my
die.
life. Okay, if
This
you
is my podcast now.
if you punched through the wall and pulled out a shotgun, I would quit. I would never. That's the last episode.
Austin
That's,
comedian murders 2 veterans.
Yeah.
that's the fucking finale.
2 veterans and a guy in the corner.
Oh, that's so good. I know
What
you
is
got
this? What are you doing? Oh, fuck yeah, man.
He's getting college credits for sitting here listening.
He
to us.
literally feels like the podcast cuck right now.
he is the podcast.
He's
cuck.
just over there like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, you can't ever let the cuck know he's a cuck. You know what I mean?
He's like,
You gotta
don't
get
bring
him
it
some-
up.
No, you're part of it. You're part of it.
Yeah. No, this is hot for us too. Oh, it's only 20 minutes now. That's awesome.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. I'm up at 8 o'clock. So okay, cool.
You got to go?
No, 7:15.
Okay.
I was just making sure that was actually a chill time.
What time is it now?
7:06.
Okay. So we got a few minutes.
Yeah.
What's if you had, based on your childhood, because like I've loved your story of your parents, and it's cool that I always think it's cool when parents are still together. Like, even though my mom was divorced so many times, like it's such like it's a point of admiration for me if 2 people have figured out how to properly coexist for that long in a functional way, you know, because I've seen so many people coexist in a relationship in a very non-functional way.
You know, I was thinking about this because, see, we didn't talk about this, but I have a boyfriend now. We're not married, but I have a boyfriend now. And he's really freaking cool. And I was thinking about it. Thank you so much. We're in love. And so it's really cool. His penis is massive. But
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Matter of
But-
fact, that's the bigger congratulations.
It really is. It's a massive congratulations in my
Huge.
vagina. But so I was thinking about like what can create like longevity, like what is that kind of thing. And the way I've been feeling about it, and it's not something that I have set in stone, but I really do. I've been asking a lot of my friends that are in relationships who have been in very long relationships. I do think that a big chunk of it is just a decision to commit. Like, it's kind of just like, I feel like a lot of people that I know who are more likely to like end things and then move on to the next thing. They haven't like given themselves enough time to truly be single and to understand like the difference between being in a partnership and being single. A lot of people just jump into things because they're like, I feel all these feelings. And it's like, really, you kind of got to like look at it like logistically. It's like, okay, there are these things that they don't bring. There are these things that they do bring.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think that it's like being more calm about it and just being like my parents, like, you know, I'm sure there were a ton of different things that they could have pointed out at each other throughout all the years that this is not okay. This is not okay. But it's like, you just kind of make a decision like, but this is not okay, but this is what I'm doing. Like we're going to work through this. And obviously if things get dangerous, like scary, really fucked up, like you got to cut that. And it's like, that's when, I mean, you're not even making it doable for me. But I think a lot of people kind of jump when things just hit their ego wrong. And,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying anybody should stay in some shitty thing they don't like. Like, if you really feel like you need to leave, you probably do. But if you keep realizing you're in that pattern, then it's probably something that,
Oh, absolutely. Patterns do repeat, especially in relationships and within yourself. I mean, I've made the same mistakes over and over again in relationships. I think that one of the things that you said that was kind of, I guess poignant to me was it takes a deep level of faith that you made the right choice for yourself and that you can trust your own choice.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from self-discovery. I think that comes from life experience. I think being able to trust your choices is the most important thing when it comes to being in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because if you don't trust that you chose the right person, then you're always going to look at options like they're better.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like there's that saying of being like, what you think about me is a reflection of you. And I think that can be that's so real in relationships like that, because like, if I don't know, if you think that if you don't trust me, then you're not going to trust me to take care of what we need as a group, as a unit. And so,
well, if you can't trust yourself to pick the right person,
that's what I'm trying to get to. I couldn't figure out
how can I ever be the right person?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't know what the right person really is for you.
You're the kind of person that would pick a cheating, lying pussy. So you're thinking that I'm a cheating, lying pussy because you don't trust yourself to pick somebody that's not that.
Absolutely.
That's been kind of trippy in my relationship. Like, I'm trying to write a bit about it where it's like, I'm so used to getting cheated on and treated poorly that a few times, like when my boyfriend has his phone out, I'm like looking and I'm like, damn, you ain't got no hoes. That's embarrassing. Right?
Yeah.
But like, cause in my head, I'm like, I think that I'm going to have some guy. I'm like so used to being like, oh, he's going to have something on his phone. And then I see nothing and I'm like, what the fuck?
you grab his phone and you start DMing hoes.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
like, yo, you got a fat ass, girl.
Yeah, exactly. No,
we gotta get your rep up, honey.
I tried to say some kind of tag about being like, damn, put your dick online or something. Like give me something to do tonight. I'm bored.
I need to stalk some hoes' Instagrams.
Yeah, exactly. Can you follow like 3 sluts for me?
Just 3 thoughts. That's all I'm asking.
Like literally nothing. I'm like, all these are just your bros online and sports. Like, who gives a fuck? But yeah, I don't know. So it's like that. I've had to check myself, being like, oh, I'm really assuming that I'm still gonna pick a guy like that when like I've done so much growth and changing. Of course, I'm not gonna be with a guy like that's not who I am anymore. To like be cool with like to act like, because guys like that are always like, you can tell like in some kind of other way, you know. And so even when I wasn't being honest with myself, I could still tell. But yeah, I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
I get exactly what you're saying.
Thank God, because I wasn't sure. I really lost myself.
Well, it was time to close this up. You got to go. And
this was really fun.
You have fun?
I had a lot of fun. I love podcasting in general, and this one was really chill and vibey.
Cool.
And fun.
That's dope. We always close this on one way. If you have one piece of parenting advice to give to all parents out there based on your own childhood experience, what piece of advice would you give to everyone raising a kid right now?
Okay. I would say, like, through thick and thin and nightmare situation after nightmare situation, you are always that kid's parent, and to always show up as a parent, not a best friend, not somebody who's like, cares so much and is like overwhelmed. Like, as a parent, you always show up. And I would say that's the number one thing that my parents always did, was like, I was never worried about somebody like not like, I didn't know what was going to happen with the adults in my life. Like, I always knew these people are going to be there. And a lot of times I did not even want that. Yeah. But that's consistency. That shows you, and that raises, I think, in something that I see in me, that's helped me be somebody that I easily show up for people. Like, I'm there all the time. And people always compliment me on that. And I'm like, oh, well, that's just how I was raised. Like, I'm just going to do that. And I think that a lot of people are impressed with that in me because they didn't see that growing up, And to me, I'm like, I don't even see that as something that's a good quality of me. I think that's just something that people should do. So, show up. Oh, actually, can I take it back? I want a new one. Edit that out for real. That was really good, but edit that out. Honesty. Absolute honesty. Be honest. I was trying to remember when I was saying the last one.
Brutal honesty.
Like brutal honesty with yourself, with your kids about the situation. Now, obviously, so I feel like some parents can kind of go overboard. They rant to their kids about their financial issues, put stress on them about relationship issues. Like, you don't need to be that honest. You don't need to be, you got to know who to go to with what stuff. But there was never, like, my parents would never say they were going to be somewhere and they weren't. My parents never lied about a reason why we couldn't do something. Like, they were always just straight up like, you're not doing that. And it's like, why not? Some parents will be like, oh, because it's closed today. It's like, even a little lie like that can create an inconsistency. The kid knows what's going on, you know? Yeah. And so, I don't know, my parents were extremely honest with each other. Like, it's just, I feel like honesty in our household was just number one. And yeah.
That's one of the advice that I give to anybody that's like trying to have a healthy relationship is find a way to discuss hard truths.
Everything.
Easily.
Yeah.
Hard truths.
Exactly.
Find a way to easily discuss hard truths. Mm-hmm. Because if you can't say the hard thing, then the easy thing doesn't matter.
100%. And also I've experienced, there's so many hard truths that I've said that I've made up to be so much harder in my head. And then when you say them, people are actually so appreciative and people are so compassionate with each other because they can tell by you being honest, you're showing vulnerability and you're showing compassion to them. Yeah. So like a lot of people aren't going to really attack that. Yeah. And if they do, then you still stand on the same ground. You're being honest. You don't have to tiptoe around this lie that you made 3 years ago. Like that just creates chaos. So that's that on that.
This was good. Thank you for being here. You want to tell them where to find you?
My address is, no, I'm just kidding. If you like me, you can stalk me at, but Instagram, Covered in Liz. I also, I hate to say this, but it's so true. I actually kind of love to say this. Let's face the facts. I have an OnlyFans now. I have different content on there than on Instagram. And let's face it, you're freaking horny.
I did not make enough on my OnlyFans to meet them to match me.
Yeah, well, men can't. Like, unless they're like gay.
Hold on, okay? I did some of this as bad.
Yeah.
And
Dylan, like
the amount of DMs.
Yeah.
I did some of this as bad, butt naked too. I did that.
Oh, that's great.
Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know about
that.
Yeah,
it's on their Patreon. I did a butt naked.
That's awesome.
You know what? I'm here for my friends, Liz.
Yeah.
I'm here for my friends. If you're going to run a gay sex podcast, the least I can do is go on it naked.
That's the least you could do.
The least I can do.
For sure. I appreciate you being clothed today.
I mean, actually, I did a podcast with Colton yesterday, and he tried to talk me into getting naked for it.
Right. Yep. I think he's not recording those.
Oh, no, they're for his OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. I think he just has an iPhone on your crotch the whole time.
Well, that's a great way to end it.
Colton's gay.
Thank you, Tammy's boys and girls. Thank you for joining us. I've been John Carden. This has been Tammy's Boy. Thank you for coming in. See you soon.
Did your family bring joy? Was your childhood